It's Lisa from Been There, Got Out. And my guest tonight, we did our little tech test earlier, so hopefully she'll get on very smoothly. Her name is Carol Reed, and she is a representative for a company called LegalShield, which I had heard about, but I really didn't know much about it. And I was really excited. I'm looking for her. Where is she? But I was really excited to have her on because I met her just a few weeks ago and at a networking thing. When she started describing what her company did, I was like, oh my gosh, this could be really, really helpful to people in our community because a lot of our people are financially abused. They don't have any money, or they only have a little bit of money. And sometimes we can't afford attorneys. And LegalShield is one of these things, which I'm like, where is she? But they have like subscriptions that you can have every single month and cancel at any time. It's $29.95 a month, and you have access to actual attorneys that get back to you within 4 hours. I'm wondering where Carol is though, because she's not on here. I'm looking like, Carol, you just texted me a second ago and I don't see you. All right, I wonder if she's having problems. She is an Instagram Live virgin. We did have her on about 5 hours ago almost, but something is wrong. There she is. Okay, good, Carol. What a relief. I was just about to say a teeny bit about LegalShield, but let me get her on here to start introducing herself, and then we'll get into it together. So any second, yeah, $29.95 per month. I know. Carol actually let me use it. There she is. Hi.
Hi there. How are you, Lisa?
Good. I'm much better now that you got on smoothly. I was like, where is she? How am I going to keep these people entertained without you?
Oh my goodness. So, hello everyone. I'm so happy to be on with Lisa today.
Me too. All right, so Carol, I just said that you're the person who knows about LegalShield, and before we even get into it, first, how about you introduce yourself and give a little backstory as to why you even wanted to be involved with this company. What does it represent for you, and why is it so important for many people in this community? Because I think this is a godsend.
Yes. Yes, so my name is Carol Reed, and I am a representative or associate for LegalShield and ID Shield. But today we're going to be talking about ID Shield. This is really my second act in terms of starting a business. And the reason that I love the product that I am sharing with the public is because I'm an ex-educator, so I am very much accustomed to sharing and taking advantage of teachable moments. And one of the things that my students taught me, Lisa, along the way was what it meant to be treated fairly. And so when I ran across LegalShield, I identified with their mission of being able to protect and empower families and individuals relative to them knowing their legal rights, being treated fairly when they felt that they were being treated unfairly. And just, I felt that this was something that I could easily do and that I could make a difference doing it. And I could also establish a business doing it also. So, and it just means the world to me because I think this is something that everyone can use and benefit from.
Yeah, and so I was saying before you got on that people in our community, many of them are dealing with high conflict divorces or separation or post-separation abuse where they are stuck in the family court system or appellate court system dealing with a very difficult person. And one of the ways that, one of the reasons that makes it so awful is that we all know how expensive it is to pay for attorneys. Legal fees are what put us in debt. I mean, my divorce was $100,000. My partner Chris's was $300,000, money that we didn't have, and that I'm going to be paying loans back for decades to pay for that divorce. And post-judgment, you know, by having to do it myself, I've saved over $1 million, but a lot of people really aren't capable of doing things themselves. They really do need an attorney. And so many of us who are forced to go pro se don't have resources that we can talk to about the legal part of things. And it's very daunting to do everything by yourself. And so we always encourage what's called limited scope attorneys or unbundled services. And we love when our clients and our community can find other creative ways to get what they need, which are not the same, but could still be really, really helpful. And so that's why when you told me about LegalShield, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, how is there something that costs $30, like 5 cents less than $30 a month, and I can actually talk to an attorney, like who actually is going to listen to me and get back to me within 4 hours? And yes, I know they are not dedicated to my case, but around here, it costs $700 and more just to get a consult with somebody. So how does LegalShield work, and how can they afford to do legal services for $30 a month with, and we'll get into this after, not just me, but my kids are covered?
Absolutely. Yes. And that's an excellent question, Lisa. And you know, there's always power in numbers. And so at LegalShield, we work on the whole concept of collective buying power. And so it's not just your $29.95 or my $29.95, but it's the $29.95 of the 4.4 million people that we cover with our services. Yes, for less than $1 a day, we prepay our dedicated law firms to be of service to our members. And so that our members are not having to worry about the high cost of legal fees. When they call and make contact with their attorneys, with their dedicated law firm, it's how they can help you, not how they can bill you. So that it is the collective buying power of our members.
I mean, to me, like I was explaining it to someone this morning at breakfast, talking about our interview, and she was like, wait, but I'm suspicious. And I said, no, really, you have to look at it like insurance, you know, and you know, like one of our clients that is now your client, I don't know if you know this, but she said her mother, before she died, had LegalShield for decades and just used it as like protection, that just in case you need to talk to a lawyer, something happens, and this, we're not just talking about divorce, family court, whatever, but like a traffic stop, something, you know, at the airport, like where you need, like, it's like, I don't know my rights, like I need to call somebody. Instead of your family scrambling to locate someone, you have this dedicated firm that will handle you.
Absolutely. LegalShield is changing the way we contact lawyers and how we work with lawyers. Absolutely. And for your plan, the one thing that, you know, rather than guessing or stressing or Googling, all you have to do is pick up your phone or go to your laptop and get in contact with your law firm and let them know the kind of lawyer that you would need to talk to for the area of law that you are dealing with on that given day. And that is covered 100%, and it is on an unlimited number of personal issues. And that is also true of contracts or documents that you might have. They can be reviewed for you within 3 days, and the attorneys will call you back and have a conversation. I'll use the example. I needed to have some waterproofing done in my basement. I had a proposal from a company, but before I sign anything, I send my contracts and documents off to my law firm. They give me an intake number, and in 2 to 3 days, I have a call back to explain. And it just relieves me and just gives me peace of mind that I'm not in this by myself. And the same thing is true for the clients that I have worked with that you've referred to me. That I'm hoping, and maybe you should share your own experience. Because you yourself have this wonderful plan that we have. So what has your experience been?
Yes, and thank you, Carol, for that. So yeah, like before we did this interview, Carol decided that I should have a chance to try it, and I was like, perfect, because I have cases in 2 states. For those of you that don't already know, my case has been in the system for 9 years. So it's ongoing, and I have been pro se or self-represented for 6, and I've been successful. But part of the reason I've been successful is because I have resources that I can ask to do the things that I don't understand. You know, I can write motion. I've learned how to write motions. I've learned a lot of things, but I still always like to have an attorney on a limited scope check what I'm doing. If it's a family member or a friend, and we definitely have gathered many of those, especially from doing Been There, Got Out, who could do us favors. But so with one of the issues, it's like another issue to continue the battle in the legal system, and it was an area of law, not family court, I was unfamiliar with, and I thought, I'm freaking out because I can't handle this. So I thought, all right, perfect timing. I'm going to try LegalShield. And by the way, Carol, I don't know if you saw a comment. Someone on here said she's a LegalShield member and said they're amazing. So I made my call, and they said, we'll take the message and we'll have an attorney call you back within 4 hours. They called me back in less than 4 hours, talked to me for a while, explained what I didn't understand, explained why, you know, if I wanted someone to really take over the case, that would be extra, which I understand, but that they could review certain documents up to, what is it, like 15 pages or something? Right. I mean, that alone is like so helpful. It was comforting to know, okay, this isn't just me and the legal people that are friends and family. This is another attorney giving me a different angle that I hadn't heard before and explaining why this was going to be handled this way and saying, you know, this is a different state, blah, 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 but these are the things that you should be aware of. And I was like, this is really helpful and such a bargain for the home. And that wasn't the only question. That wasn't the only time I used that firm that month. But they were efficient. They delivered on what they said. Another person said they're a LegalShield member. But they really delivered. And so that, to me, I felt like I could trust it because we're so used to people not getting back to us. Many of our clients have attorneys where they're like, they're paying them tons and tons of money. Like, when I have an issue, answer me. But attorneys have all kinds of cases and clients and other people that they have to take care of. Part of my job with Chris is comforting our clients and reminding them, you know, you're not the only case. But with LegalShield, they have to get back to you in a certain period of time. So that's part of the service, and I really appreciated that. The other thing I want to say is that one of our clients had an issue with looking at a custody order, and she was really concerned because Chris and I are not lawyers, so we can look at things and say it sounds like this, but we really can't definitively interpret legal documents because we're not lawyers. So we suggested that she try LegalShield. She had a lawyer review the thing, and the lawyer said, yes, that person is indeed breaking that order. So it was so validating because it was like, she thought so, we thought so, but is it worth going back to court over? Well, now having like a genuine attorney in her state tell her, yes, I have looked at it carefully. Yes, this is what angle you can use. For $30 a month in one conversation, and she could talk again. It was like amazing, amazing. And that's why it's been so easy for me to refer people just in the last few weeks, like refer people to you, because it's like, why wouldn't you want something to just check, just to have another set of eyes? Like, we really promote empowerment through education. Lawyers that we work with, that we love, say, look, if a lawyer has confidence in his or her abilities, they won't mind another set of eyes giving an opinion, because if the point is to really help the client, why wouldn't you want someone else's point of view? It's not like too many cooks in the kitchen. You do have to follow, you know, you have to decide about the legal end of your case, but having a lawyer and maybe a second opinion, I like to think of it as, why not get a second opinion that's that affordable?
And
So,
Lisa, I, like you, I am not an attorney, but I am referring to myself as your legal connector. I can definitely connect you with a dedicated law firm in your home state. LegalShield has been around for 50 plus years. We have a presence across the country and in all provinces and territories in Canada. So we know what we're doing in terms of company. This has really become part of my life's mission, just to get the word out there that this is a viable alternative to seeking legal protection and guidance.
Right. And also, I was thinking about the part where we said that kids are covered as well, and not just up to 18, right?
Up to age 26. Who's covered? The member, the member's spouse or domestic partner, and all children up until the age of 26. And if there is a child who has a mental or physical disability, they are covered for life. That is absolutely powerful.
It's just, it's amazing. And that's why I felt like it was so important to talk to you, you know, in this way, because I didn't know about this resource, and I'm thrilled to be able to share this resource with people who I feel like can really use it. So I also have used LegalShield. I have to get back to them because they said, oh, you need to fill out the contract. But I was like, what do you think of these contracts? They review legal documents, but can you also mention about doing things on your behalf?
Yes. We mentioned the unlimited advice and legal consultation. We mentioned a review of contracts and documents. And the law firm will write letters or make phone calls on your behalf.
That is huge. I mean, again, we have clients who are working difficult hours, and it's hard for them to advocate for themselves when they're tied up with all kinds of things. So to know that, again, for less than $30 a month, they can use an attorney to communicate for them. Because often their partner, their ex will have an attorney, and our clients don't have an attorney. A lot of them do, but some don't. But there's more power and authority when it comes from another attorney, like your message comes from another attorney versus just you by yourself. I mean, I've done it by myself, but it's nice when you get that like punch behind it.
Well, you know that there's an old saying that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. And I think that that's exactly what our services provide. You know, we've been talking about some of the preventative or proactive kinds of features of our plan, and there are other features of the plan too. And one would be, as you said, they will help you with speeding tickets. They will help you with IRS issues in terms of having the availability of a tax lawyer.
Oh, wait.
That might be.
I didn't know that. Slow down, Carol. Tax lawyer? Because that's another huge, you know, you didn't mention this to me before. A tax attorney, that is a huge issue with our people too.
Yes, yes. If you are audited by IRS, you have access to a tax lawyer to be able to work with you or to accompany you to that audit.
Wow. I mean, it's just amazing. Well, anyway, I don't usually do like infomercials, but I feel like this is something, again, I've used, our clients have used, and it's basically an insurance policy. So when you need to ask a lawyer just for an opinion, a second set of eyes, like why not for something that low? And also the fact that your kids are covered. Like I think my son lives in the Midwest now. We're on the East Coast. Like if he gets in an accident and doesn't know what to do, he can call a lawyer.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because the membership comes with a mobile app. And within that mobile app, personally, and of course I'm biased, but for the monthly fee of $29.95, Lisa, I would pay for the 24/7 assistance. And what that means is this: within your app, there is sort of an emergency red bar. 24/7, 365 days of the year, be it weekends, be it after 5, be it in the middle of the day. If you find yourself in the midst of an emergency, let's say that you've had an accident, you've been injured, or someone else has been injured. Let's say that you have been stopped, you're being questioned, your liberties are being threatened. That is considered an emergency. If your children are being taken, that's considered an emergency.
Really?
If there's a warrant or arrest.
That's a huge, I didn't know that. That's a big issue.
Tap your app. In seconds, you will be speaking to an attorney in real time in the midst of the emergency to give you legal guidance on the spot.
Yes. Okay. We're getting a question. So you still, but if you decide to hire an attorney, like to take on your case, you do have to pay for them, but there is a discount, right?
There is a discount. It's called the 25% member discount. As a LegalShield member, you will have 25% off the hourly standard rate for that law firm. So you will never pay the full price if you are asking the law firm to do something that is not included in the standard legal plan.
Yeah. So that, you know, for those of us spending years possibly in court, that can also add up to a lot of savings.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. All right, so Carol, I'm keeping an eye on the time because we actually have a client in 5 minutes.
Okay.
But can you please tell people how to find you if they're interested in learning more about LegalShield?
Yes. You can find me at www.creed26.wearelegalshield.com.
Okay, and in case they forget that, they can just click on your Instagram. I know it's your personal, but like in our thing, and they can send you a message and say, what's that address again?
It's at Carol A. Reed.
Yes. Okay. All right. Great.
And I'm even willing to give my number if you.
Yeah.
Should I?
Your number.
Can I put that in?
Yeah.
Okay. I will add that in.
Oh, you're writing in the comments. Say it too, Carol.
Oh, okay. 301-655-9260.
Okay, great. All right, someone is saying quickly, even though we have just a couple minutes.
Okay.
My son has been to court 4 times already, and his son is 6. Do you think this would be good for him?
Sure, and particularly the legal consultation and advice. And then they can make the decision if they would want, that is a pre-existing condition, and so they can have a conversation with the law firm if they would want to hire them, you know, to look at that. It would not be fully covered by the plan, but I think I would never say no.
Yeah, and the consult, you don't get charged for the initial consult?
The consult is 100% covered.
Where I am.
And you can call 15 times a day on different issues. It is still covered. You will not be given a bill.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, around here, it's hundreds of dollars for a consult, just a consult with an attorney. So to me, and the subscription to LegalShield that I loved is you don't have to commit to like a year, right? It's like $29.95 a month.
It is on a month-to-month contract. There are no long-term contracts attached to the membership. It is a subscription model, which means that the $29.95 is a monthly fee, but it is on a month-to-month contract. Yes.
That's awesome. All right, Carol, so we have to go, but thank you so much. And Again, Legal Shield for less than $30 a month, like less than $1 a day, to have this insurance of like lawyers that you can speak to who have to get back to you and can review contracts and documents and make phone calls and write correspondence on your behalf. I just feel like in this community, it's really important to know that there are resources like that out there, that even though a lot of time you can't get completely free legal assistance, this is like the next best thing.
And thank you so much for having me, Lisa. This has really been a real privilege for me to come on to your podcast.
Oh, my pleasure, Carol. All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.